Greetings. Today we're going to talk about the geography of ancient Egypt. Did you know that the ancient Greek historian Herodotus, upon traveling to Egypt, he referred to Egypt as the gift from the Nile? Notice that he didn't say the Nile was the gift from Egypt. Here he is suggesting that Egypt would never have existed if not for the Nile. The Nile River turns and swerves along the northern part of Africa, and there are fast-moving rapids that provided a sort of defense for Egypt. Those rapids are called cataracts. Now, at the northern part of Egypt was where the Nile deposits into the Mediterranean Sea. That area where the ocean meets the river is a very fertile area, great for raising crops. We call that area the Delta. That area allowed Egypt to build and create many crops that could feed a larger population than what it had. What one may find interesting is that when you think of a flood, you think of something that people have to protect themselves from, something that can be very dangerous and it could in fact harm people, which is true. However, one of the things that makes floods dangerous is that they're unpredictable. However, with the Nile River, the floods that they would have were very predictable, and they knew exactly when they would happen. In fact, farmers would plan and even relied on these floods. They would predict when the floods would happen, and that flood would bring fresh water and fertile soil deposits, allowing the farmers to grow even larger food yields. One of the reasons why Egypt was able to have a empire that lasted for thousands of years and Mesopotamia wasn't, is Mesopotamia was fairly easy to invade. They had flat lands, and they were surrounded by lots of tribes. Egypt was different. Egypt had a gigantic desert to the west, which protected them from invading tribes. To the east was the Mediterranean Sea, which was very difficult for the early tribes to cross with an army. So Egypt was relatively safe for many periods of years. Egypt was split into two sections, the upper and lower half of Egypt. The man who brought the two sections together was a ruler named Menes. Menes is said to be the first pharaoh of Egypt, or king, because he united the two sections together. Menes' children went on to rule after his death, and then his children's children went on to rule. When one family's line rules an area for long periods of time, we call that a dynasty. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.